Hey! Hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora, and welcome back to my blind playthrough of Elden Ring. This is episode number 3, being recorded on Friday the 8th of July 2022. I hope you're all having a fantastic day whenever it is you find yourself watching this. So, I wasn't originally planning on recording an episode today. I was actually planning on spending some time editing the previous episode. However, when my wife and I woke up this morning, we realized not only was our internet not working, but also our phones had no signals either. And you're going to be watching this at some point in the distant future, provided that the internet hasn't suddenly died and some sort of apocalyptic situation is presently transpiring. But yeah, I have no idea what's happening. It's about 11:30. Yeah, it's 11:30 precisely in the morning. My wife and I were both planning on working from home today. I'm technically between jobs, but still working on some things. And I was going to do some editing on the side, but can't exactly work from home if you don't have internet. So I went and drove my wife to work and came back, and the stuff I had to do, which is work on revisions for a paper that I'm a co-author on, can't really do without the internet because I need to look up sources and whatnot. And yeah, so here we are. Again, I was going to do some editing of the previous episode, which I've not yet edited, obviously. So for that reason, I don't have any notes on my notepad here. But I do have, a vague recollection of fighting a horse sentinel friend over and over and over again, and getting my rear just absolutely handed to me. And it being about 29 degrees centigrade in here, which was brutal. But I currently have the door open. I have the air conditioning on. I'm gonna try to filter out the air conditioning noise. My sincerest apologies in advance if it makes my voice sound weird as a result. But yeah, it's another very hot day today. I can't tell you exactly how hot because, again, I don't know if this is a Toronto thing, if this is wider than that, but basically when I was driving my wife to work, I noticed, and she noticed, that outside of all the public libraries, the Starbucks, the Tim Hortons, anywhere that has Wi-Fi, there were just crowds of people standing outside the stores using the internet on their phones. And of course, we don't have a landline, so we really have no... Gosh, it really is remarkable how fragile our infrastructure is. That there's this idea that we've mastered nature, that we've... that's what makes us a civilization, I guess, is that we have mastered nature. And yet, these really silly things happen because there's a storm, or, the wind picks up, or the waves are a bit larger than they usually are. Like, we live within these super fine margins, and I presume it's because of neoliberal capitalism and this drive to ensure that costs are always as low as they possibly can be, because, you can't obviously mathematically account for every possible situation in which, some form of infrastructure needs to be resilient. But, it's a fascinating problem. And, I'm not suggesting that the internet should never go out, the power should never go out or anything like that, but it really just, it goes to show how reliant we are on these things. Because, we got up today and we're just like, what do we do with our lives? And the answer was, to drive my wife to work, because she works in a building where there's certainly internet and other resources, and for me to come home and play some Elden Ring. So here we are, and here we go. So I think what we should probably do is follow the trail of light over in this direction. It looks like we got a friend with a torch over there. I assume it's a friend and not a friend, which is to say, I assume they're going to be hostile towards us. Unlike these, are these goats? Will they run away if I'm very obviously not hostile? Hi! Oh no, it's okay. Where are you? No! I gotta say, I do enjoy the idea of goats that just roll forward like that. Okay, our pouch. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I just realized that the pouch is, yeah, just a secondary hotbar, a la Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. So we can actually look at some distant scenery now. Such as this odd statue. This is on top of the... Oh gosh, what was the area in which we started? I've already forgotten. Stranded Graveyard? It's someone who... I'm not clear on if they don't have a head, if their head is a stump and it's covered by something, or if they have a really tiny head. Or if their head is supposed to be covered with wax. They're carrying someone who is obviously not in good shape, and they're reaching out for something or someone. Yeah, Stranded Graveyard is obviously a tomb. Not just because of its name, Graveyard, but... I want to say this is a ray of light. Yeah, it looks like a ray of light, but... Looks like it could also be sort of a Halo installation from the Halo series of games. But looking over here, it looks like it's definitely a beam of light. The Crucified Friends and the Vampire Bats. The Crucified Friends are seemingly... So I'm wondering if every location in which we can see summon signs... Oh yeah, and so part of the reason I was telling you that whole story is that, of course, we're not playing online because I don't have internet right now. So I don't know if it'll be... The internet will be back by the time I'm finished with this recording session or not, but yeah. So there is another thing I want to talk about with respect to the channel and with respect to advertisements. And so I want to remember that, hold on to that so that I don't forget to talk to you all about it. And, okay, rather than remembering it, I'm just going to, I think, oh, kick. Ah! So if you unequip your weapon, that's very interesting. So that's how you kick. Cool, okay. Oh, gosh darn it. X and... Okay. I will eventually get used to that, I hope. So I noticed the other day that I loaded up one of my videos on my phone and an ad played on the video. And so for those of you who are not aware, I've never had ads on any of my videos. My channel is not currently monetized. And the reason for that is, you know, I don't like ads. I don't like watching ads when I'm watching other people's content. I didn't start this channel, I didn't start this channel to make a living off of it. I started it to share my ideas and my love of the FromSoft games with each of you. I had no idea that it would become as popular as it has. I didn't think anyone would really have any interest in the things I have to say. A very pedantic, slow, somewhat methodical approach that I take to playing these games and understanding the world and relating it to the world in which we all live. But yeah, so it was never my intent to make any money off of these games. Of course, I started a Patreon page back in late 2018, early 2019. I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was early 2019. Because I was in a situation in which my union was striking, and the administration of the university I worked for was essentially stonewalling us and not negotiating. They were not negotiating in good faith, certainly. This is an interesting looking friend here. Wow, it looks almost like... I mentioned previously that Regret looks like a I think they're called Sangheilies, the elites from Dark Souls, or not Dark Souls, from Halo. And this friend here looks almost like one of the prophets. I think they're called, what are they called? Sanshium in the Halo games. Same sort of weird, elongated upper torso. And I say weird, it's only weird because humans don't have, humans don't have those kinds of proportions. So for them, it makes sense for one reason or another. But anyways, Guide and Gatekeeper for those returning to the roots. Oh, so is this one of those? It's one of those markers that were mentioned previously. Okay, that's interesting. So I wonder what happens when we light. Oh, interesting. So there's that one, but then is that distinct from the other light? Is there a distinction between the two? Anyways, I've opened up several threads here. These friends here look quite interesting. Oh, where are you going? So in any case, yeah, it was never my intention to have any ads on my videos. Every now and then, I think there are 2 videos on my channel that do have ads regardless, simply because I included a song in the video, which has subsequently been claimed by someone who owns the copyright to that song. So on several occasions, there have been false copyright claims made on my content, and I fought those. But in the event of my having used this song, they're very obscure songs too. That was the odd thing about it. I think there were songs from a PC 98 game, which was a console in Japan. And I say console, it was a PC, essentially, a PC standard in Japan. And so I've not disputed those ones because presumably whatever ad revenue the video is making as a result of that is going to the artist, which is fine. It's either that or remove the songs entirely, and that creates some weird, awkward silence in the video, so I just don't do that. So there are 2 videos on my channel on which there are some advertisements. And yeah, I've come to accept it, and just whatever, it's fine. However, YouTube in mid-2021 changed their terms of service such that even if your channel is not monetized, they can put ads on your video, which to me is just infinitely frustrating because I've said over and over again that there will never be, and I guess just goes to show you should never use the word never, or you should very infrequently use the word never, because I've said previously that my videos will never have ads on them, or they will always remain ad-free. And perhaps I should have said, to the best of my ability, my videos will remain ad-free, because for people watching on, I think it's only on mobile devices, I could be wrong, but it raises the specter that on multiple platforms at some point, all of my videos could have ads on them. And so, it's left me wondering, especially because, here I am in a situation right now in which I'm between contracts. I just finished writing a report and finishing out one contract, and now I'm waiting for another contract to be sent to me, and I'm sort of at the mercy of these institutions who I've been working with. What the heck are these friends even? Like above ground blowfish, kind of? So, I've just been thinking, oh, that's very interesting looking. If someone is going to be making money off of my videos, and it's not like, someone whose song I used without their permission, and they're now, as is their right. And, of course, it's YouTube's right as well. It's their website. They can do what they want. But, I don't know. I'm really, really quite torn about it. That if someone is going to be making money off of my videos, it might as well be me. But, it doesn't feel right. So, I really don't know what I'm going to do. And maybe by the time you're watching this, there will be ads on my videos and I will have made up my mind about it. But if there are, then I hope you know it's not a decision I took lightly. It's one that caused me a great deal of anguish in just thinking about it and wondering whether it's something that I should be doing. Okay, that's interesting. So the answer is to sneak up behind them and go for a backstab, I guess. And so, yeah, I really don't know what to do about that. I'm quite annoyed about it. It kind of makes sense, but so you have to just hit them and then back off and then hit them and then back off. I feel like there was an enemy like this in Dark Souls 1. Maybe in Light Town or something. I really can't remember. My memory is, I suppose it's been a long time since I even last made a video. Oh, that's our first item shiny from a friend, I think. Poison Bloom. Yeah, so what I have done in the meantime, I haven't made up my mind about what I'm gonna do. But what I have done is, these are like the mosquitoes from Light Town. Oh, come on. Oh, of course you got me. There goes my last throwing dagger. So yeah, so what I have done for now is I have Great Dragonhead Fly. Okay, we'll have to check out some item descriptions in a minute, but I have for now applied for monetization, to monetize, quote unquote, my channel. And the reason I've done that is that irrespective of whether or not I decide to go ahead and take the ad revenue that is being generated by virtue of my videos regardless, I'm wondering if it's possible that by monetizing my videos, I can keep ads from going on the videos. Oh. What are these glowing crystals? Are these supposed to be like... I thought maybe for a second they were crystal lizards or something, but... Ruined fragment. So, yeah, long story short, I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. But for now, I have decided to apply for monetization, or I say I decided. I have applied for monetization. My channel meets all the requirements. There's no reason I won't be accepted. And my hope is, as a first step in sort of addressing this issue, is that monetizing my channel and specifically electing to not have advertisements placed on my videos will allow me to not have ads on my videos that are, in which the money is going to someone else. I haven't decided what I'm going to do from there, but for now, I just want to stem this tide of the fact that, all of this labor that I've done and that I've done it with the intention of having no advertisements on the videos, and yet YouTube has put ads on my videos anyway. So I want to put a stop to that. And so if I can, by monetizing my channel, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I suppose we'll see, elect to not have ads on my videos, then I will do that. If that doesn't work, then, I might engage with some of you or all of you in a conversation about how you would feel about me taking the ad revenue for those ads. Because if someone's going to be making money off of my videos, it should be me, I think. And the reason I say that, even though this is not about money, is that, to be frank, it makes it easier to sell to my wife that I should be spending time making videos, if it's bringing in some extra money, because we have bills and stuff to pay, and she's been carrying us for the vast majority of the life of our relationship, and it's getting dark. I absolutely love the fact that we finally have like a time of day system. And yeah, I maybe I'll end up hating it by the end of this playthrough, but for now I'm loving this. I think it's so cool. I find it interesting that we more or less have constant music in the background, though. I am going to presume that that is just when you're in this large open area. But, yeah, who knows? Suppose we'll see. But anyways, that's what I've been sort of wrestling with. And the background, the context for it is, yeah, me just being precariously employed. And not wanting to, because, you know, there are many jobs I could do, but, you know, I don't want to do a job that I don't want to apply my skills and expertise as a researcher and as a teacher. I don't want to apply those skills to earn some, you know, generationally wealthy family more money. I want... Hi, friend. Got a little, a nice glowing skull there. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but that's kind of creepy. Yeah, I don't want to contribute to the problems of our society just for my own personal gain. I would like to be able to earn a decent living from myself and from my family while still being able to sleep at night and not having to compartmentalize what I'm doing. And, you know, I know that's a struggle that many people have. You know, I'm certainly not special. I don't deserve it any more than other people do, but I'm just, you know, I'm trying to find a balance between all these things. What's going on here, friends? What are you looking for? It's just I think it's the same animation that someone was using in the grave area. Sorry, friends. Ruin fragment. So maybe they're farming ruin fragments? Oh, it's raining now. Hello, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, we have a few item descriptions to read. So let me take care of the torch friend first, and then... Well done. It's the torch hollow from Northern Undead Asylum. Ah, Asylum Demon. In episode 1, I couldn't remember the name... just came to me. Asylum Demon. I'm going to be editing my commentary a lot less than I usually do, so you're going to hear some of the sort of behind-the-scenes silliness when I trip over my tongue and make a bunch of silly noises. You're going to hear that a lot more in this playthrough, just because, again, in the interest of time, I need to make some changes to how I normally create content. Tarnished golden sunflower, a large flower that blooms facing the Erd tree. Material used for crafting items, found near minor Erd trees. Though wilted and faded, it still retains holy essence. So in other words, the small glowing trees are minor Erd trees. I don't think it's these trees. I think it's the small trees that are glowing. Poison bloom, flower that grows in toxic terrain. Material used for crafting items, dripping with a deep green poisonous liquid. Mushroom, a fungal growth that thrives in damp thickets and elsewhere. Material used for crafting items. Its thick, spongy flesh makes it a key component in throwing pots. Great dragonfly head, head of a large dragonfly. Material used for crafting items, long believed to have the ability to neutralize poisons. So that's convenient that, yeah, they had the dragonfly head right by the, or I guess I killed the dragonfly to get it, right by the friends that poison you. Oh, I'm just remembering now, the friends that poison you, they were the friends in the painted world of Ariamis. In Dark Souls 1. Those are the friends that poison you when you kill them. But in fact, it wasn't poison, it was toxic. Anyways, I'm remembering things as we go. I think that might be all the items I wish it gave you an indication of what is new here, because I can't remember. But it looks like there's something new here. Ruin fragment. Stone fragment found near places where ruins have fallen from the sky. Can be used for crafting or simply for throwing at enemies. These shards of stone are believed to have once been part of a temple in the sky. They glow with a faint light from within. Okay, I think that's everything. I have no idea if we're going in the right direction or not. Where's our map? Oh no, we're supposed to be going this way. So I think I'm on the wrong side of these ruins here. But that's okay. It's the beautiful thing about open world games is that in theory, you can go wherever the heck you want. And I'm very grateful to each of you for keeping me company while we do that. And that's a door. Whoa. Sun moves quite quickly. Or the sun. The sun doesn't actually move. Like, it moves a little bit, but more accurately, when we say the sun is moving, we're just talking about the rotation and movement of the planet that we're on. I'm kind of scared, friends. I don't How many souls do we have? 3,400 runes, I should say, but I was gonna say YOLO, but in this game you actually don't just live once. So, beautiful. Okay, never mind. Stormfoot Catacombs. So the question is now, are these procedurally generated areas hello? So that's the second mention we've had of roots. For a split second, I looked at the prisoner's block. I guess that's for constraining their hands. I don't know why he's wearing it around his neck. But for a second, I looked at that and I was like, oh, you got a nice little boombox there, friend. But yeah, that's for... those are hand constraints. This is reminiscent not only of Chalice dungeons. Hello. But also of Izalith. Oh, wow, you give a heck of a lot of bleeding damage. Oh my gosh. I assume that's bleed. Yeah, that looks like bleed. Wow, that was we might be underleveled for this area. Come on, friends, over here. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have taunted him. Wow, they are quick and agile. Oh, I almost hit Ghost Friend. That was close. Okay, yeah, I don't think I don't think it's a good idea to proceed here. So let's see what item this is. I'm afraid of traps. Root resin. So again, we're hearing a lot about roots these days. Resin secreted from the roots of the great tree can also be found near trees on the surface, material used in crafting items. The roots of the great tree were once linked to those of the Erd tree, or so they say, and it is for this reason catacombs are built around great tree roots. So the item description immediately answered the question which was raised by the first sentence there, which was, are great trees the same as Erd trees? Or is the great tree the same as the Erd tree, I should say? Or are great trees the same as Erd trees? Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm going to regret this big time if we go any farther. That looks like more. I don't want to fight any more of those friends. Grave Glovewort. Strengthens ashes to +1. White flower that blooms in catacombs. Each a soundless bell to summon spirits. Strengthens ashes to +1. The art of strengthening ashes is known as spirit tuning. Only a spirit tuner may perform this deed. Okay. Yeah, I think we're in over our heads here. Yeah, we're gonna come back here. I'm frightened. I am so frightened right now. Okay, friend. We're gonna replenish our flasks and then head out. We should really stop to craft some materials at some point, because it does appear as though every time you rest, they all are replenished, which can be quite a boon. Oh, these skulls. I'm intrigued by this. Can you do a... No, you can't do a jumping attack with forward R2 anymore. Just... Oh. Oh. Okay. That's, I'm glad I figured that out, because some of you must have been screaming at me when I was just kicking around the other skull. Because that is definitely a brand new mechanic. What? And there's more rune fragments? So the item shinies can respawn as well? Yeah. Again, I know many of you have probably already played this game, established all of these rules and whatnot. You've watched many other people play this game and figure out what the rules are, and to you it all makes intuitive sense, but I would please ask for your patience as I sort of feel my way around in the dark trying to figure all this out. Because especially right now with no player messages or anything, I am definitely feeling my way around in the dark. So, was that the same skull? Because I did not find the other skull, but I assume it was. Okay, these are slightly better equipped friends, it looks like. Than the digging friends. Oh, and they have... Oh, that's just a fox bunny. I was thinking about the giant friend. And, you know, I'm wondering whether I should not have killed him. Because I got 1,000 runes for it, which, yeah, is a lot. But, like, what was he looking for on the floor? Did I do a terrible, callous thing by murdering him? Frightening screams. The vampire bat? Pretty sure we heard that in the previous episode. They're just having a conference, it looks like. got your rune friends. Sorry. Okay, they are not easy to fight. They make some frightening noises. Oh! Is that what we're hearing? Oh, I'm sorry, friends. Oh. I'm so sorry. I wish I could help. Okay, suddenly we got Central Yarnum over here. Oh, someone's being burned alive. That's not nice. Maybe that's Central Yarnum, but also the Ring City. Yeah, there's some very messed up things happening in this world. Where the heck are we? So we're still supposed to be going this way. But yeah, I keep getting sidetracked, obviously, by... Oh my gosh. All the things that are happening here. Oh. What is this buff I have? Did that come from the Erd tree? All these embers floating around? Does it tell you what the buff is? You can see it on the... under the stamina bar, but... Oh, now it's gone. Okay, weird. I wonder what that was all about. This game really is incredible. I'm quite enjoying it thus far, as you might have been able to tell. Oh! This friend has yellow glowing eyes. Oh, I don't want to kill it, but I want to see what this does. Whoops. Slumbering egg. Owl eggs that will never hatch. Material used for crafting items. Prized as a symbol of the most sublime slumber. Of the best sleep. Okay, interesting. Is that because they never hatch? Okay, so if that's the Erd tree, then presumably these are the, what were they called? Minor Erd trees? The other ones, the smaller ones that are glowing. Gosh darn it. Yeah, I'm going to be distracted forever by... all these different things. Gosh darn it. Everything on this map is just So, I'm gonna go here. I want to get this. I'm gonna go here. Oh, and there's some more materials over there. Oh, what are these friends doing? Like, just non-stop distractions. What is this friend on the lookout for? Sorry. I want to say I haven't fought any of these friends yet, but I think that's like the Soldier of Godric that we fought in the tutorial area. Something is making a glowing sound around here. It's this friend here. Is that the crystal lizard? Maybe not. It was a bug pushing some tumbleweed, glowing tumbleweed. It's amazing how much stuff they pack into such, like, I know it's not a small space. This is quite a large space. However, there technically, I imagine there's a lot going on here, because this right here is where we started. And it still looks good, but you can tell it's a somewhat lower polygon model than that which we saw when we were closer. Some of the friends you can see are very obviously moving at a lower frame rate than they otherwise would be. This is some sort of encampment here. See a friend with a shield. Yeah, oh, yeah, there are many formidable looking friends there. Alrighty then. I wonder how much, like, you know, you could ask this about many, many games, but you wonder how long, like, a 100% playthrough versus a, you know, just doing the bare minimum playthrough. Like, what is the time difference there? My wife asked me out of curiosity. I don't think because she was like, well, why are you spending so much time on this? But it was more just out of curiosity. Like, so how many episodes of the playthrough do you think there's... how many episodes do you think will end up being in the playthrough? And I was like, I have no earthly idea. I said 30. There were, I think, 30 episodes in my Dark Souls 3 playthrough. But those episodes were an hour and a half on average, I believe. So, yeah, this is obviously... I'm going right back to the bonfire, aren't I? So, this is obviously a very different game, and I'm a lot more liberal, or I'm being a lot more liberal in this playthrough about how long the episodes are. I'm just sort of, however long it takes for me to record an episode, or however much time I have for recording on a given day, I'll make that an episode. I suppose today might be the exception to that, because it's 12:14. Still don't have internet, so we'll see how long this episode ends up being. But yeah, 30 episodes I think is a conservative estimate in that sense, in that it could end up being, Groveside Cave. It could end up being 30, but, you know, they could end up being 3 hours each. So, who knows? It's interesting that you have to actually choose. Oh, this is the place where you need... Okay. I assume you need a torch for going in here. Whoop. Wolves. Oh my gosh, and there are dead soldiers everywhere. Okay, yeah, dogs in FromSoft games. Not my favorite friends. So, again, once we gain access to our maiden, we're going to come back to all of these areas, I think. Not especially keen on dealing with dogs at this moment, because all we have is this slow halberd. Like, we have the longsword also, but... halberd is actually upgraded to +1. Longsword is not. So it's quite weak. So I would like to spend these runes we have before actually proceeding any further. Again, I sincerely hope that the air conditioning is not compromising my commentary in a significant way. I suppose it's possible. In which case, again, I sincerely apologize, but it's 27 degrees even with the air conditioning on, so just to give you a sense of how hot it is in Toronto right now. When I was driving my wife to work earlier, it was like 9:45 in the morning, and it was already 30 degrees Celsius outside, according to the temperature gauge on my car's dashboard. So, not quite sure how accurate that is, but... Okay, so we are actually right in front of where we need to be, where the light is leading us. Question is, do we want to explore this area first? We have 4,000 runes at this point. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, these soldiers look like they're much better equipped than the others we've encountered up to this point. But still, they're quite weak if they're dying to just one backstab, so probably not... They're not necessarily to be trifled with, but don't know that they are a reason to not explore this area. These really are ruins. It's essentially not much here. Okay, they're not the most aware soldiers. In previous FromSoft Souls games, enemies have not just an aggro range, and a range in which they can sort of see you, but they often have a smell range as well, which is to say, if you're right behind them, once you enter that smell radius, they can quote-unquote smell you, and they detect you and they turn around, and I assume that's what happened there, that the friends in this game also have a smell radius. Although it appears as though it might be muted a little bit by the fact that you're crouching. Okay, that friend looks like he's not to be trifled with. The others are somewhat trash mobby, but... Godric Soldier Greaves. Okay, so that fancy light is an indication that the friend is about to drop something, which I think is quite helpful. So you're not just mashing the X button over their corpse. Greaves worn by soldiers loyal to Godric the Grafted, rust-worn and stained through unending conflict. So are those better than our greaves? They are significantly better. Slightly heavier though, but that's okay. Okay, so we should focus maybe on taking out the trash mobs first, and then dealing with this sentinel friend next. I love his helmet. I'd love to get that helmet, although it would it would cover up Regret's beautiful face, which I suppose it's somewhat covered up now, but you can still at least see. Oh, this guy is also quite fancy looking. Is that a rifle? Okay, they're not tremendously challenging. Map, Limgrave West. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this friend to come back around here, I think. Hopefully his friends don't see us. Oh yeah, he's got a fair bit more HP than the others. Oh, his friend saw us. Whew, took a little damage there, but that's okay. Had a chance for a riposte there, missed it, but that's okay. Gosh darn it. It's gonna take some getting used to. Should have a butt stomp or something. Oh, there's a wolf over there too, it looks like. Oh, that's not good. Oh, several wolves. Okay, that's bad. This might be a time to craft some throwables. Let's see if we can do that. Let's get to a safe spot. Fire pot. So we need a smoldering butterfly. Yeah, we don't really have what we need. I suppose if we had purchased that cookbook, we might have had a better sense of what we need, but alas, no dice. That's okay. Let me pick these butterflies. Oh my gosh, that's totally Skyrim. At first I thought maybe it was a ludicrous suggestion that this game was influenced by Skyrim, and now I totally think it was. Hey, friend. Hello. Come after me. Hi. Isn't it great to face someone without your companions? I'm flying very close to the sun here, I think. Oh no. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Are they that dumb? Wow. Hollowing is something else in this world. They really are not intelligent. Okay, they're definitely trash mobs. My apologies, everyone. I know some of you have been like, why is he so slowly and methodically killing all of these trash mobs? You could just take them all out at once, but I really don't have any way of knowing how strong they are. So I'm just being as cautious as I possibly can. Just in case. Just don't want to miss anything. Because on the one hand, we have the people who will invariably find that my pace is much too slow and frustrating, and like, why is he taking so much time taking out these trash mobs? But then on the flip side, we will have people who are frustrated that I've missed things. And so, you know, impossible sometimes to balance the expectations of both, you know, insofar as I can be so reductive as to categorize blind playthrough audiences into two camps as such. But yeah, in my experience of having done, I reorganized the channel yesterday. Let me think. Bloodborne was one blind playthrough, and then Dark Souls 3, Sekiro. So as far as true blind playthroughs go, that's 3. But then in terms of like what you would consider a series, there were also 2 Dark Souls 3 DLCs that I did a separate series, as well as the Bloodborne Old Hunters DLC. So that's what, 5? No, 6. 6 blind playthroughs, and then semi-blind playthroughs, such as Demon Souls, which, even though I had watched a playthrough of the game previously, I'd never played it myself. Oh, that's interesting. Demon Souls is one such playthrough, and then Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin is another one. So, yeah, I've done quite a few blind playthroughs on YouTube. Does not... Oh. That's interesting. So that's what they were all guarding, because there were more friends there than anywhere else. I do love the look of the chest with the light peeking out, but just to be safe, let's hit it, and looks like we're good. Ash of War, Storm Stomp, Whetstone Knife. So that's for sharpening blades? Whetstone Knife? Sharpening knives, sharpening weapons. Oh, I keep going to the item crafting menu by accident. Whetstone with a cipher inscription made to look like a small knife blade allows the use of Ashes of War at a site of grace to bestow new battle arts and affinities to armaments as skills. The battle arts and affinities will depend on the Ashes of War used. Interesting. So you can modify the weapon art associated with a given weapon. That's how I'm interpreting that. Map, Limgrave West. Map of the western region of Limgrave. The demesne of Limgrave, far south of the Erd Tree, is bordered to the northwest by the cliffs of Stormhill, and under its ever-clouded skies roll the great steppes of the Pale Lands. Oh, I was just pulling out my phone and I was about to go, it's time for Fun with Definitions. And then I grabbed my phone and then I saw no internet connection. I was like, oh, I can't even do Fun with Definitions. Like, you know what? I do have a physical dictionary here. 1 second. Okay, now, I doubt very much that this dictionary is going to have any of these words in it, because it's the Oxford Children's Dictionary, the new edition, which my eldest brother gave to me when I was like, I don't know, 5 or something. And it's dated 1985. So this is the new edition. I suppose if these words are going to be in any dictionary, it would be an older one, not likely a children's dictionary. And then I open it up and immediately see... okay. Demence. Some of these pages are stuck together from water damage. Demence is not in this dictionary. Let's check steps. Steps is also not, also not in this dictionary. Oh well. Okay, so I guess, yeah, we'll have to go without fun with definitions for this episode. Ash of War, Storm Stomp. This Ash of War grants an armament to the quality affinity and the following skill. Grants an armament the quality affinity. So it's for infusion then, seemingly. Infusion and infusing a skill. Storm Stomp. One of the skills that channel the tempests of Stormvale. Stomp hard on the ground to kick up a momentary storm, usable on all melee armaments. Okay, cool. Okay, well that was definitely worthwhile exploring this camp. I'm glad we did. I'm sure we might be missing additional things, but... suppose it's worth just giving everything a quick once-over once more. Where does this path lead? Oh. Oh! Another site of grace. Quite a few of these in this. I'm wondering if FromSoft considered going back to their original plan for Dark Souls 3 and allowing the player to just create sites of grace. Although from a lore perspective, I imagine that would be a bit inconsistent with the lore they appear to be crafting for this game. That is one heck... I was going to say hella cool, but then my language filter sort of kicked in. Excuse me. And then started saying hecka cool, and then I was like, okay, that's not cool. Hella cool. This is one hella cool graveyard. At least that's what I assume this is. I know we've seen this before in FromSoft games, but those swords were all sort of askew. These ones are not. Godric the Golden, humiliated, having tasted defeat by the blade of Miquella, now on his knees, begging for mercy. That's a dark thing to have on your gravestone. Was another friend on a horse. Yeah, probably don't want to mess with that person just yet. What is this supposed to be? So yeah, we've opened up this entire area here. But yeah, first let's go... we keep putting off our meeting with the maiden. So we should actually go meet them. Assuming there's not a boss fight or something first, which, yeah, I wouldn't put it past FromSoft to do that. It is quite interesting that they decided to go this route with this game. I suppose that was like the next thing that they could have done, in terms of looking back at all their different games, and, you know, they have their whiteboard system and everything, figuring out like how to adapt their core mechanics to a different story. Which, again, I'm not complaining, just an observation. Because certainly it doesn't bother me. I love FromSoft games. Don't know that I've played... No, I've never played a FromSoft game I didn't absolutely adore. It doesn't mean I like them all equally, but certainly they all have their charms, they all have their strengths. They're all worth playing, at least the ones that I've played. I'm sure there's a stinker or two out there somewhere, but and I don't think that's solely a function of Miyazaki, and I've talked about that before. So, but yeah, it was the next sort of logical thing they could do. But I'm also left wondering, just thinking about the different trends in gaming and how certain developers. Because even looking at 343 Industries and Halo Infinite, I never would have expected an open world Halo game. I do seem to recall that at one point they were working on an MMO Halo game. Which Peter Jackson was supposed to be associated with or something, but that never ended up happening. And so I suppose that would have been the earliest example of a so-called open world Halo game. But Halo Infinite, which I'm led to understand, I've obviously not played it, I don't own an Xbox. The last Xbox I owned was a 360. But yeah, that is also an open world game. And it's just interesting, yeah, some of these games that you would not expect to be open world games are suddenly open world games. It's an interesting trend. Ruin fragment. Okay, I was expecting that to be something more significant. Okay, I think that's more or less it as far as exploring this area goes. What about this cart here? Is there any way we can get in the cart? Oh! Lord Sworn's Greatsword. Cool. Well-crafted straight sword with an illustrious design wielded by regulars of a lord's army. Though blackened and damaged by years of use, it appears to have otherwise been kept in a serviceable condition, despite the soldiers having long since lost their minds. Skill, stamp, upward cut. Brace armament and step into a low stance that prevents recoil from most enemy attacks. Follow up with a strong attack for an upward strike. I assume by recoil they mean something like stagger? 136 plus 25, so that's 166. Requires 16th strength. So we'll need to two-hand it, but what are we currently doing in terms of damage? 161. 161. But do I like the moveset better? It's the kind of the crappy greatsword, the Dark Souls 1 greatsword moveset. Although at least when it's two-handed. Let's see if we can one-hand it to see what the... Yeah, it's not the Dark Souls 2 moveset. I much prefer the Dark Souls 2 greatsword moveset. This one, oh, I don't have the dex required for that, or the faith. Yeah, we'll stick with the halberd for now. Gosh darn it. There we go. Okay, we have another card over here that we need to check now. Might as well roll through everything as well. As is tradition. Oh, doesn't look like there's anything on this one. Unless it's on this side. It is indeed. Flail. Morningstar. Weapon consisting of a bludgeoning head attached to a handle by a chain. The iron ball is spiked and induces blood loss. Blows from this weapon cannot be parried. The charge attack whirls the iron ball around for increased force before striking. Skill, spinning chain. Spins the striking part of a flail at high speed to attack. Follow up with a normal or strong attack to link the momentum of this skill into a successive attack. We don't have the dex for it. Excuse me, we don't have the dexterity to use that, so it's kind of a moot point, but gosh, you really need to check like the edges of all the cliff faces to ensure that you're not missing any dungeons and whatnot here. At some point, I might need to, I think what I will do is, I'm not going to do a lot of stuff off camera, but in terms of trying to balance interesting stuff that you would actually see in the playthrough versus stuff that I might discover off camera and then be like, hey, look, I found this place. I think what I might do is at some point explore a little bit around this open area while recording, even if I'm not doing commentary. So then that way later on, I can sort of splice in a montage of me exploring different places and yeah. That way you're not just watching me feel around walls trying to find dungeons that I may have missed. Oh, cutscene. Maiden friend? It's her.
Greetings.
Hello.
Traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord.
So she is the maiden.
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the Tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
I am curious what happens if you refuse, but I really don't want to do that, so I'm going to accept.
Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring.
Spectral steed whistle.
Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent.
So
Torrent
a ghost horse.
Treat him with respect.
Cool. Very, very cool. So we have a ghost horse.
Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment, share them with me. Your thoughts, your ambitions, the principles you would follow.
Pretty cool. Okay. Tough decisions are tough. As is my want, I think we should go for a quality build. So that's how I'm going to level my character. Can't talk to her, eh? Oh. Okay. So that means we still need to head to the Erd Tree? Did I understand that correctly? Or is that like a long-term goal? I assume this is only one of several areas we'll actually end up exploring in the end. And I believe the Erd Tree is somewhere up here. But it looks like it's behind some sort of fortification. However, the wall is broken in several places, as is FromSoft tradition. So, do we want to go... I think we... It is pointing this way, but since we've now leveled up a few times, I feel a bit more comfortable going this way. Just to see what is actually over there. But maybe first, let's just see what is immediately through this gate. Stormgate. It looks like many, many friends. Or at least 1, 2, 3. So a few friends. And there might be some behind these battlements as well. Okay, I'm not sure I understand the buff thing. Does it just happen? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, giant friend. Oh, ouch. Is giant friend trying to get revenge for other giant friend? Hey, where did he go? Not too bright, are you guys? Oh no. I wasn't talking about you. Oh, I got a shield from Dim Friend. Come on, just come out here. It's a better spot for us to engage. Thank you. Ouch. I think the longsword may have been better suited to fighting this friend. Got greedy. Ouch. Okay, so they can hurt other friends then. It's interesting. Oh, that was close. Okay, greedy Aegon. Sorry, friend. Okay, we did get a shield. Brass shield. On the larger side for a medium-sized shield, the face has been covered in brass, commonly employed in the shattering. No skill. This armament has no skill. Okay. Commonly employed in the shattering. So that was something we learned about, I believe, in the previous episode. That is somehow distinct, although it's still not entirely clear to me how, from the Elden Ring being shattered. Or maybe it was explained in the previous episode and I've already forgotten. But there was some sort of distinction there. Oh, darn it. This is not good. Not sure how you're supposed to handle this. Without taking a ton of damage. Or at least a decent chunk of damage. Okay, that's better. Golden rune. Lump of flesh. Okay, that's dark. Heavy crossbow. Not going to be needing that. Smoldering butterfly. We haven't read this yet. An eternally burning butterfly found near wildfires and elsewhere. Material used for crafting items. Serves as the kindling for a number of items. So I think we saw that was a requirement for the fire bombs or something. Lump of flesh. A lump of beast fleshed. A lump of beast flesh filled with rich juices. Material. That's gross. Material used for crafting items. Found by hunting carnivorous beasts. Meat suitable for a rustic feast. Found by hunting carnivorous beasts, but I'm pretty sure we found that on a human. Well, although I guess, to be fair, humans are definitely carnivorous. Typically not described as beasts, though. I'm wondering if this storm is specific to the fact that we are in, what is this? The Stormgate. You know me, I can't resist collecting all these materials. Even though I'm going to have a million roa fruit at some point. I did say I wanted to go in the other direction, and yet I'm going further and further into the Stormgate, but that's all right. We got some more butterflies there. Like a moth to a flame. Presumably that is, if not a reference to Skyrim, it's a reference to Dark Souls 2, certainly. Okay, this friend wants a one-on-one duel, it seems. Let's see if we can sneak around. Subvert that a little bit. Nope. Oh, someone in the bushes as well. Oh! Ah, okay, that's what that was. I was wondering if that was a rifle or something. It's a horn for calling the troops. Get ready for the ambush. Not a tremendous ambush, friends. I've seen better in FromSoft games, I gotta say. Yeah, these are definitely trash mobs, despite their fancy armor. They do look quite nice in their armor. I'll give them that, but they don't have the best, how would you describe it, battlecraft? They're not seasoned warriors. Or at least, they may have been one day, but yeah, obviously they've lost their minds for one reason or another. Whatever the equivalent of hollowing is in this game. The shattering, I suppose. They're shattered. Which kind of makes sense. I'm afraid of what we're going to find when we peek over this crest here. See an item shiny. And a minor Erd tree. Stormhill. And a golden seed, very nice. So we can upgrade our flask a little bit further. Bunch of goat friends. Oh, I should have used some of the consumable souls we had. Oh, well, I guess we can just save them. Because we have quite a few at this point. Oh, what? Friend? What the heck? I thought we were on the same side. Because you're a ram and suddenly you're like, oh, man. Thin beast bones. Oh, man. I know it's a thing that in certain cultures and societies, they just have to hunt. Thin, hard beast bones, material used for crafting items, found by hunting beasts, commonly used to make disposable weapons. Yeah, I know it's a thing in many cultures and societies that they have to hunt animals. I'm not a vegetarian. My wife is a pescatarian. And by virtue of that, I have sort of become quasi-vegetarian, I guess you could say, in that, you know, oh, that's a wolf. Okay. It's one way to scare me away from your location, is to have them. Oh. Since when are wolves and goats BFFs like that? I don't buy it. But yeah, in any case, like, so, you know, I do still eat meat occasionally. However, I don't expect to eat it at home. If we are eating out or, you know, going out for dinner or whatever, then I, you know, may get a meat dish. It depends really, because we like sharing our food, and if we both get our own respective dishes, we can't really share them in the sense that I can have some of hers, but she can't have any of mine because obviously it contains meat in it. And, you know, I've always sort of been, as a meat eater, someone who's conscious of how bad it is in some senses. I know this is a controversial topic, and not that I typically shy away from talking about controversial subjects, but I say bad in the sense that factory farming, I think, is a problem, and the subjugation of entire species of animals for our own benefit is a problem. And, you know, just so, oh, that wolf just they're just jumping from rock to rock over there, just having a grand old time. Hi, friend. Putting on a show for me? Oh. Just talking about... Oh. Okay. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that I don't have a problem with eating meat per se. The issue I have is with this subjugation of animals for human benefit. That we... Okay, that's creepy. That we have just taken entire species of animals and that we're breeding them to eat and do all these other things. It's just... It's not nice. It's awful. And so, provided that... Because there are a lot of... For instance, over the course of my doctoral research, I learned a lot about how indigenous fishers in what is presently known as British Columbia, how they relate to sockeye salmon and other forms of salmon. And, you know, it's provided that you have a certain respect and reverence for the animal, that you're being respectful in other ways, and that you're not taking more than you need. You're not, oh, that is a grotesque looking, speaking about like loving animals and doing things on their terms, and yet I'm like, oh my god, kill that thing over there immediately, please. You know, there are certain animals that have to eat other animals for the ecosystems of the world to operate as they're supposed to operate. And, you know, humans are to some degree not an exception to that, except that we've made ourselves exception to it by subjugating all of these animals. And so, yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we don't need to kill and maim and subjugate everything in the world. That there can be some degree of coexistence that we don't presently really bother with. Anyways, yeah, I'm rambling. I don't even know where I was going with that. I guess just commenting on my hesitation in killing certain NPC animals in the world. And it has to do, just more generally with my philosophy on how we relate to the world around us. And that, even though obviously as someone who eats meat occasionally, that's somewhat hypocritical. Not somewhat hypocritical, it is hypocritical. I recognize that and I wrestle with that, but I have toyed with the idea of becoming, at minimum, pescatarian. Because even pescatarian comes with problems as well. Again, based on the research I've done on sockeye salmon and their relationship in British Columbia with indigenous fishers, when you think about the sockeye salmon life cycle, and you think about how, when they're mature and they are returning to their spawning grounds at the end of a 4-year life cycle, on average it's about 4 years, their return, as long as there's a sufficient number of fish to sort of perpetuate the next generation, it's okay to take a few en route to their spawning grounds. And that's sort of the approach that indigenous fishers take. They ensure that there are enough, the spawning grounds have been populated enough such that they can take what they need and nothing more, and honor the fish in various different ways through their spiritual traditions, in such a manner that the fish continually sort of repopulate themselves. And you're existing in a symbiotic relationship. I was going to say symbiosis, but they're not Venom and Spider-Man. Is that a site of grace? And is this a merchant? No. So yeah, anyways, again, I'm rambling, but that's sort of my approach to things these days. Thanks in part to my wife, who has opened my eyes to a lot of things I've never really thought about previously. Okay. Ooh, talk to Melina. Okay. Flasks. So, helpful that it reminds you, hey, you have this thing that you should probably use. Although I should make sure that the allocation is still correct. Okay, good. Hey, Melina.
This tiny golden aura is the grace of the Earth Tree. This light once shone in the eyes of your tarnished brethren, but now it is all that guides you. Or so I hear. You can see them, can't you? The rays of grace that guide you through your burden. Upon the cliff in Castle Stormvale is a shard bearer, a demigod, who inherited a fragment of the shattered Elden Ring. If the rays of grace signal the castle, then the Elden Ring beckons you. As an ally by pact, I pray that you are fit to face the challenge presented by the ring.
So the shards of the Elden Ring are essentially the Lord Souls. I'm pretty sure I pointed that out in a previous episode, but yeah, just to be clear, I guess.
Upon the cliff, in a demigod, if the raid and the Elden as an ally pray to face the challenge.
Okay, thanks, friend. I appreciate your help. As usual, FromSoft does a tremendous job integrating gameplay and story in a manner that, like, by virtue of not having a Firelink-esque area where you have to warp back and spend your souls and then, you just keep doing that over and over again, it doesn't take you out of the area. It doesn't take you out of the game to warp back and then come back again. So by having Melinda... What's her name? Melinda? Malinda? having her warp to you, actually, I think is a very interesting mechanic and it supports the gameplay, but also, you know, I'm interested in learning more about the story reasons for it. Stone Sword Key. A sword-shaped stone key. Breaks the seal on imp statues, but remains embedded in the statue after use, meaning it can only be used once as an item. Think well before using one. So it's kind of like a fragrant branch of yore, presumably. So I will definitely think well before using it. Stormhill Shack. Hi, friend. You okay there? You look kind of sad and downtrodden.
Everyone's been grafted. Everyone who came with me. They crossed the sea for me. They fought for me. Only to have their arms taken. Their legs taken. Even their heads taken. Taken and stuck to the spider. Did you know? If you're grafted by the spider, you become a chrysalid. It's quite a lark when you think about it.
Wow, so the grafted. So all these people are grafted to a spider. Wow, that's dark as heck. My gosh.
You're all on your own, are you? And heading to Stormvale Castle? Enticed by the one in the white mask, I suppose. Oh, you've come to be one with the spider? Well, that makes us two peas in a pod. But I don't have your courage. It's scary, you know, having your arms cut off, or legs, or your head. I want to be like everyone else, but I'm just too scared. I'm nothing but a craven. Oh, I know. Can you take this little one along with you?
Spirit jellyfish ashes.
The poor thing deserves someone braver than myself. And the spirits look rather fondly upon you. It'll be glad of your company, I think, the little un.
Cute.
It was a pleasure to see you. Oh, can you pass on a message for me? If you see the little chrysalids in Stormvale Castle, tell them I love them. And that, despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough. I'm finally getting the hang of this whole pain thing, you know.
No, that's sad.
It was a pleasure to see. Oh, tell them I'm finally getting the hang.
Pleasure to see you as well, friend. Thank you kindly for the item. Here I am breaking all of her stuff. Okay. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Used to summon a spirit jellyfish, a floating spirit that illuminates its surroundings, prone to tears. The jellyfish girl searches for her distant home, will bravely spew poison at foes on her summoner's behalf. It seems her name is Ariella. It's got to be an info screen for that. Oh my gosh, there's so many more info screens. Okay, hold on. Okay, the pouch we've already got. I really wish they sorted these by, you could sort these by new, or it gave you a indication of what you've read and what you haven't. About summoning spirits. With a spirit calling bell, you can use ashes to summon various spirits. Summoning typically consumes FP. You can only summon one type of spirit at a time, and you cannot summon spirits during multiplayer. So they're kind of like NPC summons in a way? Interesting. I wonder if there are NPC summons, would they be considered, like, and you summoned an NPC summon, would that be considered multiplayer? About horseback riding. Use the spectral steed whistle to summon and ride your spectral steed. If your spectral steed dies, you can summon it again, but it will cost 1 flask of crimson tears to do so. You can dismount by using the whistle again, or by pressing L3. So we haven't done that yet, but we will. About teardrop scarabs. Oh! This was that thing we saw with the... they were rolling the tumbleweed. There are both crimson and cerulean teardrop scarabs. Defeat them, to replenish the flasks that match their type. However, you cannot... Okay, that's interesting. So they're like... what were they called in Dark Souls 1? The little spider friends. Oh gosh, wow, I've forgotten everything, haven't I? The little spider things that would spawn occasionally when a player would not retrieve their humanity. Except instead of giving you humanity, they give you refills of Estus, seemingly. At a smithing table, you can spend runes and smithing stones to strengthen your armaments. Somewhere in the lands between, you may meet a blacksmith who can make your armaments even stronger. So I'm glad that there is actually a blacksmith in the game. That's quite the relief. About adding skills. With a whetstone knife, you can use Ashes of War to grant your armaments new skills at sites of grace. An armament can only have one skill. Any skill it previously had will be removed. An armament's type determines what skills it can have. Some special armaments have unique skills and cannot be granted new ones. About adding affinities. With a whetstone knife, you can use Ashes of War to grant affinities to your armaments at sites of grace. This way, you can alter an armament's attack affinity, boost attribute scaling, and more. An armament's type determines what affinities it can have. Some special armaments, like those with unique skills, cannot be granted new affinities. I think that's it. I believe we're all caught up. Okay, my recording is now at 1 hour and 50 minutes. So I'm wondering whether I should proceed or not, or whether I should call it an episode there. Because it's 1:14, still don't have any internet, so I can't really get any work done. But I'm thinking the first episode was about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Second episode will probably likewise be about 1 hour and 40 minutes. And I do still have some time to record yet another episode. Or I could just make this one very long. I have to take a break shortly to eat some lunch. So I'm thinking maybe I'll go try the boss fight. And then hopefully be able to defeat the boss quickly, call it an episode, and then start a new one after I've eaten lunch. But let's see. I'm going to wait for these friends to come back around so that I can get the jump on them. 2,200 runes. So it might have been advisable to go back to the Site of Grace and summon Melina so I can level up. They always make you wonder whether they've seen you or not. Ouch. Rip friends. did get a nice hit on me. A couple hits anyway. Okay, I'm sure there's a ton of stuff off the path that I'm missing here. But I'm keen to see if there's a boss fight up here. Interesting that in the main world, okay, so here's where I should respawn if I die. Interesting that in the main world, there is this dynamic weather. Oh, that's the thing for refilling flasks. Maybe I'll avoid it so that I can use it later, in theory. That in the main world... Whoa, what the heck? Was that a ballista or something? Oh my gosh, it was. Hold on, friend. I got a skull that I need to split open here. Oh no. What was I thinking? Oh, that's an interesting question. Okay, yeah, let's grab our souls as quickly as we can. Okay, I'm gonna run and try to grab my souls. That was really silly in retrospect. Oh my gosh. That was close. Okay. Whew. Okay, so we might need to find some sort of alternate entrance or something, because that's going to be a problem, I think. Can we warp from here? Okay, great. So I guess that means there's no need for homeward bones or anything of the sort, which is rather convenient. I appreciate that. Although I assume, yeah, you can't warp from within dungeons or whatever, but yeah, that works for me. So yeah, the recording's almost at 2 hours now, and it looks like we do have a ways to go before we get to the boss fight, so I'm going to take a break, eat some lunch, before I start recording episode number 4. So thank you all very, very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.